Today I want to show you a short row technique called shadow wraps, also known as mother-daughter short rows. And the reason they're called mother-daughter short rows is if you think about each column of stitches being, chained up one at a time, the one below would be the mother stitch, and the stitch that you create onto your needle is the daughter stitch. So it comes from the stitch below. So here I've got, on my swatch, I've got a couple of garter edge stitches. We're going to ignore those. And then we've got a couple of, just regular stockinette stitches. So the first thing you want to do here is find the mother stitch. So if the daughter stitch is the one on the needle, then the mother stitch is the one below it. So it's a lot like a lifted increase in this way. If you look, let's see if we can get really close. See, there's the collar, the kind of, scarf looking collar of the stitch below. That's the mother stitch. So we're going to take this right leg of the mother stitch and put it up on the left hand needle. Keep it separate from the daughter stitch above it. And you're just going to use that right leg of the mother stitch to make a new stitch. So just knit into it. So now you can see we've got two stitches, the new one over here on the right hand needle and the old one over here on the left hand needle, coming from the same mother stitch. We're going to put that right hand stitch onto the left hand needle. So see, now you've got two stitches that hang out together. This is a shadow stitch because it kind of, sticks right next to the original stitch like a shadow. So that's the shadow wrap on a right side. So at this point you would just turn and your yarn is ready to work back the other direction. So let me work back to the other side. So the reason that I like this technique the most is because it's a one row process. So something like a wrap and turn short row, or even, Japanese short rows, or the one with the pins, or yarn over short rows. They're a two-row process. You start it on one row and then you finish it up on the next row. But this one is really nice because this doubled stitch, this shadow stitch, you're going to treat it like a single stitch on the next row. So this one gets a little bit more complicated. So what you need to do for a wrong side shadow wrap, we're going to put it in the exact same place, but on the opposite side. What you do is you slip this stitch that you want to wrap, or to work the short row on. This is your short row stitch. You slip this one to the right hand needle, and then using your left hand needle, you pick up the left leg of the stitch below. So this will make it exactly the reverse of what the opposite side did, what the right side did. So if you turned it over, you could see that what we've got is the right leg of the mother stitch, but we're just working it from the wrong side. So let's go over this again. So what you're going to do is slip this stitch without working it to the right hand needle, pick up the left leg of the mother stitch below, and then you're going to purl that left leg of the mother stitch, and see, now you've got your shadow stitch, and it's all in place, it's already ready, it's there. And you'll just slip it back to the right hand needle, or alternately you could, while it's still facing this direction, you could slip it to the left hand needle and then turn. That would keep everything exactly the same, so that you're ready to then keep going. So don't forget to turn, it's very important. Otherwise you'll get all confused and start working in the wrong direction. So let me get back to a few stitches before our original shadow wrap on the right side, and we'll go over it again. Okay, so let's say, two stitches before the wrapped stitch, or the shadow stitch. So on the right side, you pick up the right leg of the mother stitch, put it on the needle, keep it separate, and then knit into that right leg of the mother stitch. Put the new daughter stitch onto the left hand needle so that you've got a doubled stitch. You've got your shadow stitch. See, and here's our one from the previous row, and you can see the short rows building up underneath, and turn. And we'll purl back to a couple of stitches before the wrong side shadow wrap. Let's see. Okay. So remember, on the wrong side, we need to slip this stitch first, and then with the left hand needle pick up the left leg of that mother stitch, and then we purl the mother stitch, and it makes the shadow wrap there all neat for us. Slip it back to the left hand needle and turn. So you can see both sets of shadow stitches. And then let me just show you how easy it is on the next row. So instead of having to work, wraps together with wrap stitches or pick up yarn overs and knit them together with anything, you just treat both shadow stitches like they're one stitch. So here we got to one. We got a shadow stitch here. And we're just going to knit it like regular. And you can see that it faces just like a regular stitch does. It's not twisted or anything like that. This is the stitch in between the two shadow wraps. And then we've got another shadow wrap that we'll just knit. And then finish the row. So we've just worked those two shadow wraps together like they're one stitch, and it's kind of hard to see until we get some extra fabric on here, but it's definitely got those short rows going. And then it's the same easy process on the other side. You're just going to treat those stitches like they're single stitches. So let me get back over there. And while I'm purling across here, let me talk about reasons why you might need short rows. So short rows can be, they're used to shape fabric. If you've never used short rows before, they're really fun. Also, if you are a curvy girl, short rows are your best friend for sweaters. Most sweaters are not built for large-chested women like me, and just adding an inch or two of short rows into the bust portion of your sweater, it won't change your armholes, it won't change anything weird, it'll just give you more fabric to go across the girls. So it's really helpful, and you should definitely learn short rows. So here we are on the wrong side row with our shadow stitches. So we're just going to treat them like they're one stitch, and it's kind of easy with a yarn like this. They tend to kind of collapse onto themselves and hug together. Some yarns are different. Some yarns that are a little rounder are they tend to stick out like two separate stitches. So you've got to be careful that you don't accidentally knit them separately. So if you need to remind yourself, you're always welcome to hang a stitch marker from the shadow wraps, or the beginning of the shadow wrap section, so that you can find it and remember that you need to work them together. So you can see it makes this little pooch. I don't know how well you can see it, but having worked just those two sets of short rows, it made this swatch pooch out a lot, so you can see how nice it would be for bust shaping on a sweater. It's also, you can use these in place of any other short rows. So as long as you figure out which stitch they wanted you to wrap, then, or work the short row on, then you can sub this short row for another short row technique. I'm also going to do a video that you'll see in a minute about using shadow wraps for a short row heel on a sock. So I hope that you will try out shadow wraps and enjoy them as much as I do.